Welcome to the island, episode 23, where it's time for a blob of colour, in which we'll complete 3 paintings full of little rascals, happy trees, and beautiful accidents. But first, we need to prepare our brushes and paints, palette, and canvas. Let's grab our brushes from a storage box in the bedroom. We'll have to grab the paints from the kitchen storage box, though why they were stored separately is just a happy accident. You ready to have some fun? Let's do it. We'll start with the canvas by the door. Equipping our brush, let's jump and reach out our hand. Thinking about the colours available, we'll first select a nice slate and load this brush full of paint. Putting a lot of paint into the brush, just really working it into those bristles. And we're going to go right along here and touch and push. Just push right along here. Adding thickness to our stroke, we feel the canvas through the shaft of our brush, pushing that paint into the surface just like so. There you go. Just push it in. And this is where you need the almighty sticks here, because you are really pushing hard here. You are pushing that paint right into the fabric. This is just straight slate grey, and you're bending the bristles. It's most important that you bend those bristles. Okay. There. Now, I am just going to go into a tiny bit of navy blue and we'll darken the front here. As things get closer to you in a landscape, they should get darker in value. Alright. You know, while I'm doing that, one of the most interesting things we see as we travel across the Ark, taming and gathering, is when giant and wingless creatures just appear in the sky. Just appear in the sky, and then suddenly fall to the ground without warning or harm. Just a hollow bump. Remember, inexperience may tell you you're doing it all wrong, but this is just inexperience. The wise painter knows that there is no mistake, just happy little surprises that enhance and improve. So really, it's a time of wonder as everything is truly going right. Just look at how our ideas use shape, colour and tones to indicate form, function, intent. A dream world of living shades, limitless possibilities and imagination. Now, isn't that easy? Looky there, the beginnings of our hollow tree. There. And you know, sometimes you don't want to have a bunch of individual lines. Instead, you want a mix of blobs. So watch right here. This is the way to make indications. All we are doing is touching now, lightly touching the canvas to get the basic shape before adding a nice brown to our brush. We are just going to drop these in. This is such a free style of painting. There. Maybe these are a little brighter, reflecting the light with natural tone. You want to just drop them in. Just let them fall off your brush. There we go. There we go. We'll return to a darker mud now. You need dark in order to show light, so here I'm just applying a little more dark color. Now, another golden rule you need to remember here, a thin paint will stick to a thick paint. So I'm adding just a touch of magic white on my brush to go through this thicker paint. And this will make it a little bit thinner, so it will stick on top of the thick paint. This is why we're able to paint wet on wet. Let's thicken some of those branches and fill out its happy little form. Okay. There we go. We'll return to the brown now and add our mid-tones. Don't overwork it, just let them progress. Okay, now we'll wash the old brush, and if you've painted with me before, you'll know this is the fun part of the whole technique. We wash our brushes with odorless thinner, shake them off, and just beat the devil out of them. And that's where you take out all of your hostilities and frustrations, and it's a lot of fun. We're going to take a 1-inch brush and load a nice olive now. Adding highlights can really bring life to this almighty tree right here. It's such a lot of fun adding these, we might as well just keep going. Now, let's give some texture to this earth. There we go. Just push it right off your brush. Bend the bristles. Most important that you bend those bristles so you can get all of the actions that take place there. Okay, we'll just put some happy little highlights over here. Maybe we'll say there's a full moon, so the brighter color will show up well in contrast as we grab some of that black. There. One thing to be very careful of, don't kill all your dark areas. If you kill them, your painting becomes very flat. Alright, maybe a little something here, just to give it a little more depth. There we go. Look at that son of a gun. For this one, let me hop onto the table here. I'm going to begin with a generous amount of slate grey. We'll just take and pull a happy blob out and then tap the brush. That ensures a nice even distribution of colour all the way through the brush. Just tap it, like so. We'll start with a guiding line before contouring our horizon and filling in with a base tone. Okay, we'll need a little more of that colour. Just continuously use these back and forth strokes to fill in this blob of colour. And that easy, you have a quick ground. Now, let's fill in that sky with some cyan. Cyan is a nice happy little colour that is sure to lighten and brighten a day and mood. This is your world, so let your imagination go wild. Whatever makes you happy you put in your world. Changing the horizon with a simple brush stroke can create mountains, valleys. You determine your world, and there will always be happy little accidents to make everything better. With our knife, let's mix some slate grey, a little black, Prussian blue, some Van Dyke brown, and a touch of a lizard crimson. Be careful with the crimson or your mountains will turn purple. Which is alright, that's alright. They wrote a beautiful song about Purple Mountain. Pull it out very flat, and then cut across so you have a small roll of paint right on the edge of the knife. There you go. Now, you have to make an almighty decision. Where does your mountain live? Mine is already here, but maybe there's a second one right there. We filled them in now. Mountains grow in all kinds of shapes and colours. They're restricted only by your imagination. Now, it's time to wash those brushes again. We'll just scrub them off in some odorless thinner, give them a shake, and just beat the devil out of them. Sometimes those brushes get away, and they go thoom, clear to the other side of the room. Beautiful. With some mud, let's make a steep cliff, gifting layers, like onion cake, to our scene. Let's thicken its form. Then use ample brown to shade in the top to form a simple diamond. All right. Next, we'll have some fun by loading a fan brush full of mud, a lot of paint both sides. Maybe there's some little trunks that live back in the distance on the top of the cliff. Here, I'm just going to take and tap downward. Just some little trees, all kinds of trees, just tap downward. Let's take a little of the liquid white on my knife and get a touch of the forest and add to that. Just the least little touch. There. Now, let's wiggle that brush. Keep to a pattern for each tree. but let each be formed by a different wiggle. A narrow wiggle, or a round wiggle, triangular, it doesn't matter, just wiggle it. A little bit. Let me see you wiggle it. Just a little bit. Paint that grove. Okay. Okay, now we'll use green to highlight the sides, edge, and texture of each tree with a light touch. Let your ideas shape your canvas and your hand guide your brush. There we go. A beautiful sun will brighten your day and sky. We use firm circular strokes with a chisel edge brush to realize its simple form. Beautiful. I tell you what, some navy can make an interesting river. We'll start with a simple line and then broaden our strokes to finish the shape. All right. Returning to the fan brush and mud, we tap downward to make a happy little forest on the other side of the river, finishing it off with wiggled forest foliage and scribbled green highlights. These are a little closer, so you're beginning to see a little more detail. Maybe, oh, that's a nice one. See, just tap downward though, and it makes those nice little, happy tops up there. And don't make them all real even, because then they'll look like fence posts. Give them some character. Okay. There, a fine piece. Taking a step back, let's glance at the result. Such a joy of painting. Let's get upstairs to our last prepared canvas. This is a height by width, double primed and pre-stretched canvas that I have covered with a nice, thin, even coat of liquid white, which makes it wet, makes it slick. It allows us to actually blend colour right here on the canvas. So, we have that ready, so let's get together and let's do a fantastic painting. And using a thicker 2-inch brush, let's pull a healthy amount of magenta down, tapping the brush firmly into the paint, really loading each bristle. Maybe we'll split the canvas in two. With a magenta fill to the right, we'll use wild uneven strokes in happy abandon. let's refill the brush with more of this vibrant colour. Okay. Maybe over here you work in this direction. It's up to you. You make the big decisions. We just show you how, but you make the decisions. When you have this much power, you have to make big decisions. There we go. Alongside the magenta, we choose a bright green. Loading as much onto the brush as we can, we start with a guiding stroke, then rapidly swing the brush up to down, then down to up. Up to down, then down to up. Time to wash our brush again. I just like to wash brushes, and as you know, we wash our brushes in odorless thinner, shake off the excess, and then beat the devil out of it. That's what makes it fun. Just enjoy. Keeping pace, we don't slow down till it's done. There. I tell you what, let's use a nice brick red colour. Or maybe a fitting olive. And with uneven circular strokes, we form the outline of a simple round shape. Now fill in the shape. Wild vertical motion is a friend here. Yes. Let's widen the shape. A perfect off-center piece. What a glorious surprise. Beautiful. Time for that red brick colour. We'll use this to add a simple square shape. Obviously, we don't want straight lines here. Okay, now, a quick fill of colour. Okay, with our knife here, we pull a little bit of the black down, and with a flick across the paint, we start with a diagonal stroke, then move vertical. Let's thicken that upward line and finish the bottom shape. There we go. Let's take a step back and have a look-see. Nice. A striking piece. I think we need to have a quick drink here and a bite to eat. A quick look over each of today's pieces. We have been busy. Time to return the brushes and paints to their home. Some eggs. Our birds continue to work little surprises too. I see a few little rascals. Jumping, we can see the first one. Oh, some eggs from our larger friends. Nice. We'll collect them all. A lot of eggs from all of our creatures today. Such bounty is a blessing. Visiting our friend Doug, we give him a gift so he may gift us later. We'll put the eggs away, then head on upstairs for the oil. Okay, let's go for a ride on Chalky. A change of saddle and we can hop on. Such a nice day for a ride, if we can jump over our friends. There we go. And here are our two rapscallions. Maybe they both need a hug. That's all the time we have for today. You have been watching A Blob of Colour. Have a wonderful day.